Alright, we should be good. Live.
Alright. Alright, the so-called Negro, Latino, and North American Indian man is the Hebrew Israelite according to the scriptures, prophecy, historical documentation. And the so-called white man is better known as Edom, Esau, the devil, the wicked. Okay? All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High, Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of the nation of Israel, better known as the GreatMillStone. Shalom to all you sincere Akim, the fellow laborers, the elect, who push this doctrine in truth and in sincerity, man. And you notice a lot of guys take everything that we say and we do, and they put it through a DJ Quick machine, man. So now you see a lot of these guys, going to various locations. You see a lot of these guys using our salutes and our greetings, right? But then they take the doctrine and they remix it and they fit it to their liking, to their understanding. And you notice that the scriptures don't talk about that. The scriptures talk about having one sound, of one mind, of one body. So you got a lot of these guys with getting their emotions involved rather than allowing the spirit to work.
This is 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron.
See, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, man. Speaking lies and hypocrisies, okay? The doctrines of devils, man. You see? So you're going to see more and more of that increasing, which we've been seeing, but we're going to see more. We're going to see more and more of it. So as you see more and more of it, we grow more accustomed to these delinquents, man, to these degenerates, these faithless bodies, man. Okay, they're outside of the programming. They're outside of the spirit of the Most High. Okay, they're not dealing. Yahweh Shai is not dealing with them. In order for the Most High to deal with you, okay, that's going to come in the kingdom. But right now, Yahweh Shai's got to deal with you. So that whole spirit and vibration you're supposed to be under is the spirit of Yahweh Shai, man. And there's plenty of commandment and order, okay, given to where we need to be following, okay, what he's dealing with, man. And you got a lot of guys that they take the doctrine and they mix their emotions into it, rather than going scripture to scripture, man. Go ahead.
It says, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which the Most High created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. That was pretty much it.
Right. So, look, man, a lot of these guys, they really don't want you linked up with Yahweh Shai, man. You know, on the spiritual sense, forbidding to marry, on the spiritual sense. Okay, some of these guys are saying, you know, abstaining from meats. Well, Yahweh Shai is that meat, okay, in the spiritual sense. Yahweh Shai is the meat, man. So you're supposed to be joined unto Yahweh Shai. You're supposed to be eating Yahweh Shai, man. People in the world say all the time, you gotta live, breathe, eat, and sleep this thing. But then when you apply that to the scriptures, when you apply that to you know, commandment and good advice, then these guys say, oh, you guys, you know, you're just doing videos because, you know, whatever, to be man-pleasing. When they themselves know, or should remember, the balance of things, that you have righteous man-pleasing and you have wicked man-pleasing. Okay, so right now in the cities, they got some sort of a, you know, event, mobile app. It's a mobile app event. It doesn't matter what game it is. But that's, you got a lot of people out here, a lot of traffic out here, man. People aren't paying attention, as you can see. you know. But so these demons, they're joined unto their own devices, okay? So demons are joined unto their own devices, man. And 2/3 of our own people are joined unto these habits too, man. Okay?
It says, Sirach 8:8, despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
But acquaint thyself with their proverbs, man. Don't despise the discourse of the wise, man. And that's what you got a lot of guys doing, trying to change doctrine. You think Yahushua is looking for a mixed multitude with a mixed doctrine? No, he's going to gather the so-called mixed multitude, which are Israelites scattered throughout all the different variations. Okay, he's going to gather them under one doctrine, man, under one name. The scriptures tell you in Acts that there is one name given among heaven whereby men must be saved, man. There is one name given, okay?
It says, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth.
You know what this is going into? A rehearsal of heritage, man. A rehearsal of heritage. And you got these newborns out here, man. They've been pushing the word for a couple years, and they have no heritage, man. Because what they've done is they've taken the doctrine and they've corrupted it, and they've mingled in aspects of religion and aspects of the world which are to be politically correct. Hey, the scriptures don't deal with modern society's ideas of what it is to be politically correct, man. The scriptures aren't PC like that. So you get a lot of these guys that aren't adhering to or rehearsing the heritage, man. Read that again.
I accidentally skipped a sentence to
it.
It's Sirach 8:8, despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs, for of them thou shalt learn instruction, and how to serve great men with ease. How to serve great men with ease, man. So you're supposed to have masters. So all these guys that are saying that, you know, they're masterless, that, oh, yeah, Yahushua is only, no, that's not how this works, man. When you rehearse, you're supposed to do a full rehearsal, man. Okay, you're supposed to do a full rehearsal. Okay, when you do rehearsals, what do? You get into the whole, the garbs of things, right? The dress rehearsals, the placements, right? So that's what you're supposed to be doing with this doctrine, a full rehearsal, man. You're not supposed to be picking and choosing what things you want to follow. These so-called Christians, you know, how many of these, you know, people still eat pork and say it's okay? Why? Because some pastor told you so and he showed you one scripture? What about the other ones that counteract that scripture, man? You see, people in the world, when they think they're hot shit, they get brought down low. Look at this Tekashi 6ix9ine guy. All his friends, he lost all his people. You know what one of the underlying things is? Because he disrespected his heritage, man. Talking about this Treyway bullshit. Saying that he started Treyway and shit. Now it's all coming out that all these people that were vouching for him for being a pussy, now they're all you know, turning against him and being like, yeah, you are a pussy. You never did nothing. You know, you're disrespecting the people that died creating, you know, this thing that they call Treyway, right? So then you got this other social media star, some little fucking 12-year-old, 11-year-old bitch named Lil Tay, crying and shit, acting all hard on music videos, but she's crying and shit because she's got to go back to Canada. Okay? So, hey, look, man. When you disrespect a heritage, Yahushua, what you're disrespecting Yahushua, the Most High Yahweh. There's those standards that we gotta, you know, uphold and maintain, and you can see where these other guys don't want to maintain it. Why? Because time makes you complacent. Being left alone without someone to check you, and that's the problem. A lot of these guys, they don't like being checked, man.
That's a 2/3, man. A 2/3 doesn't want to be checked. And when you check them, what do they have? A sinful man finds an excuse, man, according to his will. You see? But on the other side of the coin, it says, reproving, rebuking a wise man, he will love thee. Okay, so they don't have the balance of the scriptures in their mind. Because a lot of these guys, you see them, part of the heritage is fellowshipping, man. And the scriptures tell you to not forsake fellowshipping, man. So a lot of these guys, they don't even hang out with each other. It's just all a facade for the camera. Same thing with, these Instagram stars and internet sensations. Be it 6ix9ine or this Little Tay or the new ones out there. Kid Boo. These people, they have no community. And their community is shattered fragments of pieces from other puzzles, man. So this body, this temple is being built up, okay, has to have the same mind, has to be on the same accord, man. Okay.
It says,
okay.
This is Hebrews 10:25. It says, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together as the manner of some is.
See, as the manner of some is, that's present. That's a consistent thing. So that's not supposed to be in our heritage, but you see it in these guys, and that's why, I've always said it, love is what gets guys removed. Okay? Your own behavior is what gets you removed. You act like a degenerate. You don't know how to fellowship with people. It's all an act and a facade. You don't know how to be yourself. Your whole ego on camera is an act. That's not even who you are, man. Okay? So as the manner of some is to this present day, go ahead.
But exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching.
But exhorting one another as you see the day approaching. Okay? Which to exhort means to urge as you see that day approaching. So here it is, we see the end, so we exhort each other that are in the same mindset. Okay? Whether you people see it or not, we don't give a shit, because anything that we present to you is going to be ridiculed. So even the brotherhood, man. That's why, a lot of stuff happens behind closed doors and guys get upset about it. Oh, why do you not know this or know that? And not closed doors that's not going to be revealed, but for the sake of order, because it's a rehearsal of our heritage, man. You let the chain of command work, okay? Just because Phineas jumped up and made a move, yeah, that was the right thing to do, but hey, he probably should have waited. But it's okay, the Most High, it was with it. Okay? The Most High was with it. When you get these guys that read about the zeal of men, the zeal of brothers, and that's all they run off of. Oh man, I just got that zeal. Well, when your zeal is unruly and unchecked, the scriptures tell you that your spirit without rule is like a city broken down and without walls, man. When you keep acting as the head authority, like where are you rehearsing the heritage at, man? You always want to be the head in something. Look, know your part, relay as you need to. Give things time so things can take place, and stay in your position, man. But a lot of these guys, that's why you see them, splinter groups, splinter cells, fulfilling their own lust. That's cool, man. Hey, do your own thing, man. You're not going to get nowhere with that shit, trust me. There's plenty of examples to prove you wrong. Go ahead.
This is an example of being hasty.
Yeah.
This is 1 Maccabees 5:55. Now, what time as Judas and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Ptolemais, Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they say, let us also get us a name and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went towards Jamnia. Then came Georgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Nazareth were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea, and there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act.
Right. See, so they were jumping the gun, going outside of the order of things, all for what? To get a name. So you see these guys, they get what they want out of it, and then as soon as something rubs them the wrong way, rather than checking themselves, and then they might call themselves, oh, you know, I checked myself about it, I meditated, I prayed, I fasted, and for that reason they're convinced that their way is right. You gotta think, man. You know, even in the world of sports, man, in the world of whatever sport it is, auto racing or whatever, performance builds. Okay, the new generations that come up, they always go back to what people were doing in the old school, how they were doing it in the old school. There was a method for the madness. Okay, as they say, there's a method to the madness. Meaning, okay, it doesn't make sense to you because you don't understand, you don't got that experience, man. So these guys trying to, you know, find and gain experiences in places that don't exist. And that's why you see people that play these video games, what's the first thing they want to do? Pay to win. They'll pay to get double experience. They'll pay for these packages and these starter packets to get more items and have more experience, to be above someone else that's on their level. Just look, that shit doesn't do anything for you, man. That's not building you up. You're living under false pretenses, man. Okay, so you see that often, and when you recognize things like that in the world, laziness, when you recognize dishonor, when you recognize things like that in the world, you bet damn well you can see them in the truth.
This is back in Sirach, chapter 8, verse 8, starting at 9. It says, "Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn of their fathers."
See, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, man. So what is that? Again, the heritage. So you have all these splinter groups, okay, that have no heritage, okay, that are unable to learn from things of the past. So that means that clearly shows you that they're not in a rehearsal for the things that they need to be rehearsing. You see?
It says, but acquaint thyself, it says, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer. Yeah, I can read it again. It says, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. Kindle not the coals of a sinner.
No. It says, thou shalt learn understanding, okay, to give answer as need requireth. So when you follow the ways and traditions, okay, of your elders, okay, well, in this case it's the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone. Those are the ones that have stayed committed to this whole thing. You'll be able to gain understanding, man. You'll be able to gain understanding so that when the time comes to make an answer to something, you'll be able to do so. That need to answer will be able to be there, you see? But you got a lot of these guys out here, man. And even these so-called elders and leaders in these other groups, I call them, Nathaniel Ray, okay, ISU, whatever these other alphabet groups, and taking on titles. See, they'll take on titles somewhat reflecting a heritage, but it's a shell. It's like a shell company. It's hollow. It's all exterior. There's nothing inside of it. So that's why they're constantly trying to keep this image that they're worried about more than the doctrine, man.
It says, kindle not the coals of his sinner, these shall be burnt with the flame of his fire. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be.
Right, disobedience, the thing that has been, is that which shall be. Disobedience, okay? Unruliness, basically wickedness, okay? So everything that we see now, it's already happened before in the past. That's why when you look out, you're supposed to be able to walk this planet, okay, and learn from what's out there. That's part of the Proverbs. Considering the ant, considering, you know, looking at the animals for things, recognizing, you know, how the animals operate in the world and society. You're supposed to be able to apply that and see a lesson that goes into this truth, man. And whatever you do, if you're watching sports, if you're watching if you're into Marvel comics or animation, anything with a story and a plot and rules and laws and regulations, you're supposed to be able to look at that world and be like, damn, that comes from the scriptures. Or damn, look how these heathen and these wicked operate and govern themselves. Where do they get that from? They get that from us in the scriptures, man. So you're supposed to be able to relate and correlate with many things. Okay, that's supposed to be part of your heritage, man. Not what the so-called white man has going on, man. You see what they're up to. They're at ease. All the wickedness their ancestors have done, and look, they're at ease with it, man. And that's their whole mindset. You know? Their whole mindset is that they're at ease, you know? They don't have to worry about the crimes of the past. So the thing which has been is that which is now, you see?
And that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
Right, there's no new. So when you really incorporate that into your life and your understanding, okay, that's when you can start to grow with that. That's a helpful building block. That's just one of many. So really, you can read all you want, man. You can look up words all you want. You can study all you want, but unless you're able to actually receive these things, you're not going to get any better, man. You're not going to grow. And that's why you see these people as stagnant pools of character. Their morality and character is stagnant. Why do you think people who gain weight continue to gain weight? You know, why do you think that people with problems and illnesses continue to have those illnesses and problems develop further, man? They're never going to get better. You can hold your breath. You'll die before they get better, man. That's a suicide pact, you know? You just made a suicide pact with these people. But that same piece of shit person, unknowingly, will understand one concept, and maybe they're addicted to a video game, or they're addicted to they're a workaholic, and they'll be able to rise up through the ranks in something, but they'll never ever see that application and diligence and work and apply it to what needs to be applied in their life. That's how you know people are blind, man. And we see it all the time, especially in these other groups. Yeah, they might have some zeal, you know, but it's not according to the knowledge of the Most High. That's always freaked people out, even in the ancient days, man. So if people were bugging out in the ancient days over the Proverbs and the wise sayings and the balance and morality and character was constantly being called out against the wicked scribes and Pharisees, you can sure as hell bet that it's happening now. Okay? This is just part of the things that we got to endure and see and put up with, man. Okay? So you're going to see more and more guys fall out of GreatMillStone. You're going to see more and more guys come in and go out, come in and go out. standards are being raised, man. Standards got to be raised. They got to be met, and then they got to be raised. They got to be met, and they got to be raised. Because what happens is you get complacency. You see it in like levees, not levees. What do they call those channels? Like a Panama Canal, right? But it'll have these channels, what they call channels, where the water comes in and it rises up to let a boat in of a certain size, and then it's got to lower water out of the other ones and raise up this other one, and it moves channel to channel. Okay, well, those levels got to move to accommodate, okay, for bigger things to pass over. So at first you're a little ship, you need very little accommodation. But soon you need to get to the point to where, hey, look, I'm a bigger ship. The standards got to be higher, the levels, the bars got to be higher, so that I can pass through it. Because if it's low, you're not going to be able to move through properly. What's going to happen when you move through with a low standard and you're used to operating up here, you're going to ruin your whole base. Your whole is going to be demolished. So you're going to ruin yourself, man. The ruin of many is come because of idle business, getting complacent with your standards, man. So constantly have to have that forward-thinking mentality. A lot of these guys, they don't have a forward-thinking mentality, and you can see it, man. They don't work hard for things to come years down the road. They put in time, you know, of 10 minutes to expect the reward in the next hour or two, man.
It says, this is Proverbs 6. This is Proverbs 6 and 6. It says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest.
Right. So you would look at the ant and say, well, the ant has no ruler. Now, there's always something to lead them. They do it off of instinct. Okay, and that's trying to relate to your base ass spirit, man. Your brute beast of a spirit. If an animal can do this, and it knows what to do, so that it can be taken care of, especially for itself in times to come, a forward-thinking mentality. If that animal can do it, can't you? Aren't you greater than a fucking ant? Mm. Can't you make better accommodations than an ant can make? So you see, a lot of these guys, they won't focus on themselves because they don't like what they see. They don't like at all what they see.
This is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
Right. So the majority of Israel, they don't consider that the Most High is in charge. They don't consider that his ways, that him sending Yahushua and how Yahushua has left things for us to follow is actually important. They don't consider that this is the place of rest. So now as vagabonds, as Edomites, they wander about, seeking to find a home that's already built, or trying to build a home, not understanding that you need other trades to help build a building. You can't build how are you going to do your excavation? Well, first you got to survey the land. Where's your survey team? Is that good land to build on? Do you have to sump shit out? Then you need a team for each of these different aspects. This is just the survey, figuring out what's over there, a forward mentality. Can we build here? Let's go survey the land. Okay, that's a good spot. But is it also a good spot according to civil engineering? Where's that team at? Did they come in and say, okay, well, the population is this big, we're going to expect traffic. Now we got to get the, DOT, Department of Transportation, kind of involved a little bit and see, okay, well, if the numbers fluctuate this and that, now we got to get the power people involved. And this is all before even fucking nail goes in the ground. You see? This is all planning. So look, man, a lot of the so-called Israelites, man, you don't think. You don't think forward, man. You're not thinking of a bigger picture. And that's all the elders and apostles has ever tried to give you. and not in so many words, but if you pay attention, you'll notice. If you watch, just like if you watch the ant, if you watch the spider, you watch the coney, okay? You watch these different creatures, you watch them from afar, and it takes time to understand why they do these things. Even so-called scientists to this day, they'll watch animals for a distance and learn migratory patterns, and it takes time before it clicks. And then after all that time, what do they got? They got a short description, a short explanation over all. It took all this time to give you this little bit of information. Oh, this is why they do it, because what they're doing is establishing blah, 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 blah. It's like, damn, it took you years to figure that out. Yeah, because we had to sit down and watch. We had to be observant. So a lot of these guys don't have that mentality to sit down and shut the hell up and learn, man. That's why a lot of these people, they love their religion so much. Because it's a place where they just go, they sit down, things are thrown at them, they stand up, they sing, they hold hands, they hug each other, they feel good, and they go home. And that's not how this is supposed to work, man. We need to get out of that American thinking.
Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men.
Okay, first off, you got to be occupied in prophecy. That's forward thinking. Okay, and then also consider the sayings of the ancient men, of the renowned, those of renown. Okay, you're supposed to be conversant in these things, man. So with the elders and apostles, man, they got years on you, man. They got 33 years plus. You combine those years, man, they got to combine easily 100 years of experience to give you, man. Being in the world and out of the world, man. They got plenty of years to give you an experience, man. But you wouldn't sit and watch. You learned a little bit. You didn't want to suffer. You didn't want to wait patiently and just take that humility route, man. They wanted to go out to battle and get a name. Yeah. Well, now you got it. You're a 2/3. Congratulations. Start singing Post Malone and shit, man. You made it.
It says, he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also.
Where subtle parables are, okay, subtle, something that's on the bottom. You could read these scriptures all day, all long, but a lot of times there's fine things in there, little traits you can find in nuggets, like the respect, like respecting the heritage, rehearsing of the heritage, man, which includes, hey, the scriptures say, servants, be obedient to your masters, man. Didn't Yahweh always talk about his master? Didn't people call him good master? Of the disciples themselves, people called them masters, man. Why? Because they put themselves, everyone understands you got to be under something. You always got to be under something, man.
It's always a chain of command.
Yep, under tutelage, you're always under something, order. See, you're rehearsing our heritage. That's our heritage, man. A rehearsal of rehearsing this heritage is part of your job. Okay, so you're into the prophecies. You gotta have a forward mindset, man. Humble, which means being able to accept humility and suffer patiently things that are come upon you. Okay, this Western mindset, this American mindset, is the incorrect mindset to have, man. You see where it's gotten these people? Everyone's ditching the dollar. Russia's ready to go to World War III. And what are these people doing? Playing Pokemon, man. All these people out here to play Pokemon. And when shit hits the fan, what are they going to say? Well, at least I caught them all. At least I caught them all. And the only balls they got are Pokeballs, man. You're supposed to be better than that. You know? You're supposed to be better, man. A man, with learning this truth, learning this word, you're supposed to be better than everyone else on this planet.
That's right.
It says, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences.
He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences, man, of heavy things, to seek them out. Okay, well, what does that really mean? Why is he saying that? Sometimes you'll come across something, and it'll tell you when you read further into the lexicon that it was like a parable, or it was like a saying of the time. It won't make sense to us in this setting because the society or the world that it was back then, it was different. It meant something then, which means nothing to us now. So it's even harder to relate to. So someone's got to break it down and make it more relatable. Okay, so seeking out the grave sentences, man, which that takes time. Something that's heavy, whenever something's heavy, it takes time to move it. A lot of guys, oh yeah, oh that's heavy, that's deep, that's heavy, that's deep, and they leave it at that. They don't consider it's going to take time to really understand the full aspect of something that's being said. I was at a, just it's real quick, man. I was at a job, okay, assembling some shit, and the instruction book that it came with for the same thing had 5 different sets of instructions for the same thing. And it was because there was different angles and widths that this thing could have been assembled in for this one particular part. So I'm here with the guy, okay, and I'm just a temporary help for this company at the time. And he's looking at one set, and I flip the page. I say, well, hold up. Which is this a narrow or a wide piece? And he's like, oh, I don't know. So basically, his idea, which it worked, was just trial and error. And I saw, okay, well, not all these things that we're about to assemble are the same. They're all different, So you would mock up, you would take the piece and you would kind of mock it up where it needs to be, and that would give you a better idea of where you needed to place certain items. So then when I went to the directions and the instructions, I could flip through the book either way, and when I would see, okay, oh, you know what, these two are more relative than the rest. So I put those ones in and boom, it would work. You see? So that trial by error, but it took time. It took time. You got to stand back, look, analyze, digest it, and then you can move into it. That's what you're supposed to do with these scriptures. You're supposed to have the precepts, they back each other up. As long as you present the information properly, the precepts, they will back each other up, man.
It says, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables.
And be conversant in dark parables. When Yahweh told him, you got to eat my flesh, they said, surely, man, he's talking about cannibalism. We don't do that. That's not our heritage. See, they were so caught up on the heritage of things, right, that they got blindsided by a dark saying in a parable. Okay? A dark saying is something that is not easily seen or understood, man.
It says, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries where you have tried the good and the evil among men.
So you've tried the good and the evil among men. So you're supposed to be able to be out in this world as much as possible without getting harmed. A lot of you guys, a lot of these groups out there that you see them teaching and they don't interact with people. They have no social skills. They don't know how to deal with grace and poise, how to appear honorable, Maybe some of them can have that appearance, but really it's not in their core either. It's a full package you're supposed to encapsulate, man. You're supposed to embody every aspect of this word, man. And the best way to do that is with experience. And when you don't got the experience, you're supposed to be humble enough to shut the fuck up, sit down, and learn. It's that easy of an assignment. And you notice, you want to get paid more money, a lot of these jobs that pay more money require you to shut the fuck up a lot more. But a lot of our people don't know that because they're stuck, you know, in the bracket of, you know, 8, 14, maybe 16. And they don't realize that there's a lot of higher paying jobs out there. They just require you to shut the fuck up. You always want to run your goddamn mouth in your own opinion. Why don't you let the book work, man? Let the system work. That's what it's there for. The system does work. Shut the fuck up and do it, man.
It says, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him.
He will give his mind to the Most High. He will resort to it early that made him. You notice the scriptures talk a lot about coming into this thing in your youth. But the youth of your mind is more important than the youth of your body. Meaning that you're able to be taught, you're able to be instructed, you're able to be molded. That's what people look for, man. That's what people really want. Not that, you know, this guy shows up on time. It's easy to show up on time to a job, man. But how is your performance when you're there? How is your character when you're there? How well do you fit in around that spot, man? You see, you got to you still got to fit into a body. You still got to be a piece of a building. You still got to be a part of a group. What is that? What is that sense? Where does that ideology come from? From the scriptures, man. Building up of one house, one body, one army, one nation. You think that car could have the tires peel out from a first gear? Okay, without things being, you know, properly balanced and maintained from the engine to the axles and the boots, to make sure that power gets hit to the rubber to make it squeal and squeak. Everything's got to be a part of a system. And when that system is one system, that's where you get high output performance, man.
It says, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins.
Make supplication for his sins, man. A lot of these guys constantly say that, you know, they're not dirty, that they're perfect. Now that they wear their fringes everywhere, now that they finally grew a beard, now that they do this and do that, now they're perfect. Well, guess what? Yahweh Shai doesn't need to come save you then, man. You got it. When the fire comes, just jump and float above that fire until the fire is gone, and fly your ass over to the promised land by yourself. When you read, real quick, get 2nd Ezra, the first chapter. It's going to be on the left page, towards the bottom. Yep. Let's do the 6.
2nd Ezra 1:36. They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them.
See, that's the difference, man. Look, man, who knows if the Most High, if Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, really, if they're going to forgive us for the things that we've done in our past. We don't know that. We don't move forward through life like, yeah, all that shit I did in the past, you know, that was before I knew better. Hey, the Most High can still jack you up for that shit, man. But you get a lot of these guys that act like they never did no evil and no wrong in their entire life. Scriptures even tell you that if you've committed one sin, that you're guilty of them all. So from the smallest to the most extreme punishment is what? Being put to death. So you might have did something that wasn't worthy of death, but you got to look at it that way, man, because the Most High doesn't play around. This is why the grace and mercy are getting involved, man. So calling and remembering your sins, when you see guys with that character and attitude like Nate and Yohanan and all these big, powerful speakers like, damn, these guys act like they've never done nothing wrong. They never talk about mistakes of their past. They never bring that stuff up, man. Look at Nate's got guys shooting trannies. It's okay for Nate to go convert cannibals and child traders, general butt naked. It's okay for Nate to arrest his own people falsely. It's okay for all that stuff. He never shows any ounce of remorse to the public. He just presents that he's always this person that does no wrong, man. And anytime the apostles and elders bring out, anytime the elders and apostles bring out anything dealing with their humility or whatever, it's never put on the front pages of any YouTube page. It's always the slander campaigns that are put up and put out. Right? Go ahead, keep reading that.
It says, back a second, that was first chapter.
No, go back to what you were. That was the first.
Alright, this is Sirach 39 and 1. Or not 39 and 1. 39 and 5. It says, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins. When the great Lord will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sentences and give thanks unto the Lord in his prayer. It says, he shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and in his secrets shall he meditate.
In his secrets shall he meditate, man. Thinking upon these things, man. The prophecies that are revealed to many, man. These guys get the knowledge and they automatically, like the scripture says, knowledge puffeth up. Knowledge puffeth up, man. So when you're puffed up, what's left behind is your lack of humility. Your lack of humility is left behind when knowledge puffeth up, man. You think you're better and shit. That's not how you're supposed to operate.
It says, verse 8, he shall show forth that which he have learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord.
Slide, brother. One more time, read it again.
It says, he shall show forth that which he have learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord.
You're going to show forth what you've learned. Okay, so as you're learning these scriptures, it should help everything else in your life be more fluid, man. You should be able to move more easily in this world, man. Okay, you're supposed to be able to move more fluid, man. Read the rest of it.
43%.
It says, many shall commend his understanding, and so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out.
You see, many shall commend his understanding, man. So when it comes to the elders and apostles, hey, they're well commended. Okay, they're commended very well, man. So likewise, the brothers on down that have followed that example and are following suit. Now, what is that also fulfilling? That the kingdom of heaven is so narrow that we got to enter in one at a time. Again, part of our heritage, our order. But you get these guys that don't want to get in line. You get all these groups out here that they don't want to get in line, man. They know where the line is and they know where they're supposed to be at, but they jumped out. They started their own line and they say, look, the kingdom's over here. Oh, Yahweh Shai is over here. That's what all these groups are doing, man. They've strayed away from the things that they were taught. They've abandoned their post. Okay? Now, in the military, when you abandon your post, that's what they call treason, which is punishable by death. So how many of these guys really talk about, oh, the law, the law, the law? Hey, man, you're abandoning your post. How is that honorable as a warrior or a soldier, man? How is that honorable as a priest? You have a job to do in this temple. When the priest would try to do someone else's job, he'd touch something, or a citizen would try to do the job of a priest, that man dropped dead. So how much more these guys, man, will put their hand to the plow and look back, forsaking everyone out there, man. So and then they always talk about, oh, we love the sheep, we love our people. Bull fucking shit, man. You came back for the money, nigga. Be serious. Be serious, man. You came back for the fucking money. And then you found out there's not enough fucking money for you, man, for your lifestyle, to feed your flesh. It's not enough. So then what they start doing? They started, oh, we need more money for the you want to come hold the Passover, $200, $100, $500. Passover is supposed to be held in a small solemn assembly, man. What are you doing having these grand Marriott hotel, homosexual hands touching your shit, setting your tablecloths and cleaning your walls, man? What kind of bullshit is that? All these Mexican cleaning ladies coming in on their rag, shampooing the carpets and shit, cleaning the bathrooms where you're about to lay your ass, sit your ass on that, your bare ass on that toilet and shit out all that meat you just ate, man. You can see where their mind of thought stops, man. Where they don't appreciate the heritage that we were actually given, and that's why they don't rehearse it.
Second Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away.
Right. Read that from the top.
All right. This is 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Right. How many people recognize the perilous times to come? America's losing its power of the dollar. Russia's ready to go to World War III. Trump doing away with nuclear treaties. How many of these people are acting like that's really taking place? Rather, they're doing what? You know, doing all this, you know, social media, you know, so-called social interaction bullshit. Yeah, all these people out here, nobody's even, it's not like days are old. Hey, you know, hey, how you doing? Hey, look, man, hey, you know, I got extra bread. Here's, you know, it's not a city. This is no city of peace, man. Okay? So in these last times, perilous times shall come, and who do you see reacting to it, man? Only the men of the Lord are reacting to it. Like, hey, look, this time's coming. Just like Noah. He was telling them perilous times were coming, but no one believed him. Who shall believe our report? Who's going to believe our report, man? Only those that have the same service, man. Okay? It's like we're on a 2G network, which doesn't exist anymore. So the whole world is moving towards that 5G. And we're like, look, the real information is on this thing they call the ham radio. You got to get on that ham radio, man. Stop dealing with, you know, all this Wi-Fi shit. That shit's scrambling your brain. That's why you can't get into this.
This is Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
Yep, you see? So these perilous times to come, who's acting like that they're actually happening? Who's behaving according to the prophecy? The men of the Lord. All the sincere Akim out there, man. That's the elect. Men that are doing the work. The women and children that are behind them. And those to be sealed with the same character and dedication to this body and doctrine that is required, man. You know, I bet you, you know, the scriptures don't say it, but we could elaborate. I bet you there was some fool out there trying to build a boat like Noah. You know, like, well, shit, if he's building a boat, I'm gonna build a boat. And that motherfucker didn't survive, man. You know? Maybe there was a whole fleet of them. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe he's onto something. Just in case, let's get these little rafts together.
Oh, man.
And they didn't make it, man. Only Noah made it.
Yeah. The Lord didn't tell him how to build a boat.
And the Lord didn't give him guidance.
Yeah.
The Lord didn't, you know, teach him how to set things up to where he could accommodate all this shit. and survive a brutal storm. These guys got beat down like fucking Conor McGregor, man. He got whooped. That dude jumped out the cage foot first, still trying to fight, man. He came out with that Ninja Turtle kick, man. That front foot balled up, ready to go, man. Hey, that's a bad thumbnail. You get that thumbnail, that's a bad thumbnail, man. That dude was ready, you know?
It says, it says, 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Right, so the brother read this list earlier. I'm not going to make him read it again. Okay, I mean, we can, but look, knowing the time that's at hand, right? The scripture says, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation. But people aren't having those holy conversations. They're fulfilling everything for the lust of the flesh. Truce breakers, despisers of the word. Okay? Fuck it, you gotta read it now. Right?
It says, men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud.
You see, all these are things opposite of what we've listed earlier. Humility, okay, a forward-thinking mind, able to suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you. Man, the more you learn, the easier this thing is supposed to be. Yahweh promised. He said, my burden is easy and my yoke is light. He promised it, man. Even Paul bare testimony and said the simplicity that is in Yahweh man. You get these guys out here that want to make it, you know, a bigger deal and a bigger mystery than it is, man. There's already enough smoke laid out. But these guys, I want all the smoke. They want to get it to say they can see more grand and mysterious. You don't need all that, man. You don't need all that shit. Yeah, you don't need those gadgets. Top flight security, baby.
It says, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
Let's focus on those three. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. Now, it tells us in Revelation, right? Let him that is filthy be filthy still. That's why we don't care about him. It also tells us to don't worry about how the wicked shall be punished and when, but rather inquire how the righteous shall make it, because they're scarcely going to be saved. So that's where your mind is, forward thinking. We already know from example what happens in time, what's happened in times past of people that weren't right. So that's why a lot of times we just look at them and laugh. And for the sake of those in the future who may come, that's why brothers will do a video rebuking these weirdos, man. Mm-hmm. Because we're actually worried that, look, you're putting the wrong information out there, man. And they keep trying to bring it up to make some sort of point. But in replacement of it, the understanding that they give is a modern understanding, not showing them the full scope of the story of why this happened and took place in that past time, and then how it applies to today. They jumped the gun. You know, they jumped the gun, man. Because they have an ulterior motive. They're disobedient. They're teaching something wayward and different because they're disobedient. They're unholy. They're unthankful, man.
It says, without natural affection.
Without natural affection, man. Because their affection is as brute beast. Okay? It's not in them. It's not within them as a natural person. It's all fake. That's why you see a lot of these people, man. You notice more and more when you look out. It's hard to find a group of people that are friends, man. When you look around, you see a group of people kicking it. You know, you see bigger groups and crowds of younger people because they don't have those experiences of betrayal. They don't have those experiences that the scripture is listing out, which shows men for who they really are. But then when you look out into an older crowd, you don't see big groups. Okay, you don't see big groups. It's rare to see, you know, big groups of people that are actually friends with each other. Go ahead.
It says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers,
and truce breakers, false accusers, always slandering some shit. You know? Here it is. Here it is. We're in the time of prophecy. World War III is on the doorsteps. Mark of the Beast is on the doorstep. Okay, internment camps are on the doorstep. And are these guys that know better teaching and speaking on such things? No, man. They're worried about, you know, things that don't matter. Their mind is preoccupied on ego and personal gain. They don't care about the body, man. They don't care about Yahweh Shai. If they did, then they would do the things Yahweh Shai commanded them to do. It's that simple of an observation, right? So we can see those things, man.
False accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good.
Despisers of those that are good, man. Now the new thing is to get on us because we do too many videos. Now we do too many videos because the Spirit's on us, man. The Spirit's on brothers to do, you know, 2, 3, maybe even 6 videos a week. And these guys are like, oh, you're just trying to be... Hey, man, that just shows you we got so much information out there, you don't even know what the hell we got planned and going on and within the midst, man. The elders and apostles admit it. They're like, man, I don't even watch brothers' videos all the time because there's so many videos. You kind of just skim through it, you know, because you already know by the title or the first couple minutes what the video is about. You're like, yeah, that brother got it. So everyone's doing work. Meanwhile, you're over here freaking out. You got these guys freaking out that we're doing all these videos. They're like, what? I can't catch up. I don't know who to attack now. We got them spiritually surrounded, man. So they don't know how to scoff anymore. And every time they try to find a new way to scoff, it bites them in the ass. There's a cut, multiple cuts that Yahweh Shai is condemning them. So hey, let them have their time in the sun. You know, let them get used to it, man, because that fire is coming.
Right. It says, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away.
Right, but denying the power of, denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So there's, again, as you read the scriptures, you'll see more and more that another underlying tone of separation. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai doesn't want everyone together, man. Okay, segregation is actually a good thing, man.
That's right.
If you got sick people and you got people that aren't sick, when you segregate the sick from the non-sick, what happens? You preserve those that are whole, and those that are unclean, you can clean them up and slowly feed them back into the herd. Okay, everyone understands that concept. But then when it comes now that we're talking about the scriptures and the truth, all of a sudden it doesn't apply. And we got no business with you 2/3 other than to condemn you, man.
That's right.
There's no point to be gathering all of Israel and shit, man. You only need 1/3. You only need the elect. You only need that small remnant. That's it. That's all the Most High wants. Right?
Romans 1:28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge,
even as they did not like to retain it. So you see, they're able to, but the Most High puts it in them so where they despise it, despisers of the word, man. They just have to do it different. They don't feel, it's like you got an itch and you try to go all day without scratching it, it's going to drive you crazy. At some point, you're going to break down and you're just, oh, fuck it, man. Oh, I know I shouldn't be scratching it, but oh, shit, it feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. And then you're laying there, oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Fuck it, oh, it feels so good, it feels so good. That's these guys, man. Scratching their itch for their own satisfaction, not for the betterment of their own body. They don't care about the body. They want that instant gratification right then and there, man. That's why they do it. You ever have a cast on your arm itches? You got to get something, sticking it in there. You don't give a shit. You're like, I don't give a fuck if this shit stays broken another week. You're like, I gotta scratch that shit. See, it's hard. It's easy to talk about being humble and suffering. It's easy to talk about it. But when you really got to do it, that's where the separation is made, man. Who actually can do it and who can't. A lot of people go to the gym and train, but how many of them can step in the Olympic ring and perform Olympic feats? You see all these people, you know, they're all yoked up and big. All right, you look the part, but do you actually have all that drive and motivation they talk about? You could do it too and shit. All right, well go do some Olympic type feat, man. Go do something with all that power and strength and speed and agility. They don't go for that. You know why? Because a lot of them are fake as fuck. They're on substances and shit, man. Or they really don't got the heart. They rely on substances to get them in the mood to do that shit. And some of them rely on that monetization. You see? So really, they're not true.
It says, well, I read it more. It says, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind.
You see? The Most High gave them up. So it's not your job to go and save that which is lost. The scriptures tell you that. You didn't come to save that which was lost, man. You know, being those Jews at the time. Yahushua came to save them which were lost, being the scattered. Okay? The scattered of our people, those are the lost ones. The ones that already know that just the Most High has made them reprobate, that are lost in another fashion. Hey, to hell with those guys, man. It's time for look at the Southern Kingdom got it first. It's truth first. Now you see the Northern Kingdom rising up, man. The Northern Kingdom is waking up. It's time. We're getting ready to go, man. The Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, they're ready. They're getting ready to deliver us soon. To get away from all this shit, man.
That's right. It says, to do those things which are not convenient.
See, he gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. It's not good. It's not good to do that shit. But he gave them up over to it because he doesn't care about it. He doesn't love everybody. There goes that separation again. You see? The underlying tone of how he separates people. You can extrapolate that. It's there. If he loved everyone, he wouldn't have said it this way. He wouldn't have Paul. He wouldn't have Paul speaking this way, man.
Right. It says, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit.
Full of debate, man. Full of debate. What do these two-thirds always want to do? They always want to debate somebody, man. All these other groups, these wolves and fringes, all they want to do is what? Debate. Oh, let's debate. We'll have a debate. Let's hold a debate. What's there to... Look, if I know I'm right and I know you're wrong, I'm not going to fucking debate you, man. I'm going to let you die. I'm going to let you die in whatever fucking trap you're about to walk into. I know I'm right. I'm not going that way.
Three wise men?
What do you want?
3 wise men?
What do you want?
Oh, nothing. We're just curious. What's going on?
No, you're not curious. You want to scoff and mock, man.
No, honestly, I don't. I'm curious. What is your story?
We don't have a story, man.
Okay.
Are you probably military or something?
I am.
Yeah, fuck that story shit, man. You want to know the story? Give us slavery something. I'll show you the story, man.
Okay.
We'll show you the story. Because it's a very well-known story.
Oh, I understand. You're talking about like...
Right here, this is the story.
Okay.
They're making this a so-called white man.
Okay, the lynching years, yes.
Yep. And
During the
and
Reformation.
Oh,
I know.
There's a new modern way of lynching, and it's called police shooting.
And that's Willie...
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till, yeah.
It's Emmett Till. And Trayvon Martin is the new Emmett Till.
Yeah, I got you.
So this is the story. The story is that the Most High, for our disobedience, he allowed the so-called white man to gather us up, bring us to America, and have the ultimate form of punishment.
Slavery. Yeah.
And here,
Now, what is your ethnic? I'm not trying to be condescending or anything. I'm just. So what is your background?
You see?
Yeah.
It's Negro, Latino, and North American Indian.
Well, I'm a
people,
Latino.
So your father?
I'm a Latino.
Your father's?
Yeah.
Your father's father?
No, mi padre es mexicano.
y de Jalisco, México.
Okay.
Mi madre es italiano, entonces yo soy, yo me entiendo bien.
If that's the truth, then you're from the tribe of Issachar. You're a so-called, if you're a so-called Mexican, your dad's Mexican, his dad's Mexican, his dad's Mexican. That makes you.
What do you mean by so-called? That's interesting that you say that.
Did those people call themselves Mexicans, or did their oppressor call them Mexicans?
I got you. Okay.
See?
I see what you're saying.
Now that's another precept in the scriptures that's saying that we're going to be called a byword, proverb. Okay, that we're going to be given these titles that we never had on ourselves. This is what.
What is your ethnicity, if I may ask?
I'm from the tribe of Ephraim.
Which one's that now?
Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Rican.
Okay, so La Isla Bonita.
Yeah, that's the Taino Indians.
And what tribes are you guys from?
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations where the Lord shall lead thee.
So we're an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all the nations that we go to.
Are you like a biblical scholar? How do you?
We never went to no theological schools.
But you're just a student of the Bible.
Right. We all learn from our elders that have been teaching in New York for years. And when YouTube happened, they put all their videos up on YouTube, and that's how we learn. Because the Lord said, "Freely have you been given, freely receive, freely you got to give." So as you got it for free, you're supposed to give it for free.
So this book is the Word of God. Is that what your belief is? Is that?
So our original language is Hebrew. So what happened was King James, in his time, he got a bunch of scholars together and had them translate it from the Hebrew, Greek, and Latin and put it into this old Quaker English for more to understand, because education back then wasn't so widespread where people knew Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Before King James, it was the King Henry Bible. But what King Henry did that was different before King James is he translated everything from German.
I see.
Well, no one.
Gutenberg.
Yeah, no one was speaking German in the ancient days, so the translations are a little bit different.
Well, were some of the books left out because a lot of the Dead Sea Scrolls were found?
Some of the books were left out, which is why you have what's called the Apocrypha. Okay?
The Apocrypha, yeah.
Yep. And if you get a regular 1611, it's in there.
And what's in the Apocrypha? Is this it's the end of the world kind of stuff, or?
No, it's more. It deals more with the identity of our people. There's a lot more with that. It does deal with some end-time prophecy, but you still have the book of Daniel in there. You have
Ezra,
Baruch, Ezra, Wisdom of Solomon, Esther. So everything in the Old Testament that you will find is in there, even with some of the newer things that were happening around with the Greeks and the Romans and the taking over of Jerusalem. Because a lot of that is in here, and they removed it.
Well, how do you approach the New Testament? How do you see that as
the same way the disciples did? So they were all concerned about the fulfilling of the prophecies and the laws from the Old Testament.
So when you're talking about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as the disciples? Okay.
Because that's what the Lord was doing. He even quoted, he said, he would quote a number of times, say, an Israelite indeed in whom I have found no guile. So he was to gather the lost sheep. Well, who were the sheep that were scattered? The Israelites, going back to Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, and said, for your disobedience, I'm going to scatter you throughout all nations, kindreds, and tongues. So then when you go into Revelations, and it talks about the 144,000, 12,000 from every tribe, at the bottom it says, and then he's also going to gather a great multitude from every nation, kindred, and tongue, because he dispersed us there. So that's why it says in Matthew that this gospel must go out throughout all four corners of the world, which that word world there in the Greek in Matthew's is cosmos. No, it's oikoumene, which means the inhabited globe. So then when you go to John 3:16, it says, well, God so loved the world. That word in the Greek is not the same.
I see. Well, that's, William Barclay. If you ever read any William Barclay, he is a historical, biblical historian who talks about many of the things you've just talked about, the misinterpretation. For why did Jesus ride a donkey into Jerusalem? Because a lot of people don't understand that was the sign of peace and submission. If he rode a stallion in, It was the conqueror.
Right.
The conquerors rode in when they come. Remember, who was running Jerusalem?
Romans.
The Romans, and they were oppressive, brutally oppressive.
Right. Well, it's just like now. You know,
Very little different. Yeah, you know.
well, we could say that, but still, if we have this freedom of speech, but we're still censored on things that we can't,
Oh,
and
sure.
can't say.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and already they're already calling us black extremists.
Of course.
They call us black identity. Do I look black? But
Do I look Mexican?
But they'll call me a black identity extremist, and if they would call you one too. If the spirit came on you and this was opened up to you, you would be labeled under that same title.
Yeah, we live in interesting times right now, and it's going to have to sort itself out. I'm not sure where it's all going to go, but I think there's a lot of good that's coming out. What's coming, because it's causing people to face reality that if you don't.
Russia already said that they want World War III, and Trump's already doing away with that nuclear treaty. You know, and the Venezuelans dropping the dollar. Everyone's.
Here's who wants war. There's only one group of people that want. Who is it? The people that profit.
Industrial. Well, right, it's a bankers' war, right?
It's I've been in 3 of them, and I can tell you that the only people I buried 4 of my guys, so I know what it's like to lose guys. But the guys that were making money were Brown and Root, Raytheon, any of the military
Those
industrial.
names always change once they get found out that they're, you know, getting money and, you know.
Did you know that Henry Ford was building cars for the Germans during World War II?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Do you think if that had made it out to the American public that would have?
If I'm not mistaken, I came across.
You know that Lyndon Johnson's
he's
wife
a racist too.
was involved in the ammunition business?
That's the game Monopoly was made off of, that whole idea and concept.
So, you know,
of people in power making more money, right?
we have what people are starting to understand. I was an Occupy guy, so I understand the 99%, the 1%, all that. So I understand very clearly the sentiments that are going on and whatever. Well, listen, we got to go. I want to shake your hands right now. I wasn't trying to stop. You guys are all right.
So,
Take care, man. We got to go.
Everything you're saying has all been set up through some institution, right?
Yeah. Oh no, you're preaching the choir. I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
I got it.
So according to Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So who's making all these rules and legislations, and who's saying that this is a law and it has to be so? It's
the banksters.
The legislators.
Listen, we got to run.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for your time, and I'm sorry if I came off wrong.
Yeah, you know, that's okay.
I wasn't trying.
We got some passion to us.
No, we learned some things.
Hey, you know, if your lineage goes back to any of these people, you would be an Israelite too, even though you don't look like it. That's why the Lord said that his heritage is unto him as a speckled bird. Because Israel being scattered out through all nations, kindreds, and tongues, you're gonna have some of these Israelites that look Chinese, or that look Australian, or Aboriginal, or Samoan, or East Indian. So we're not all gonna look like the poster child of these people.
Sure.
You know.
All right, guys.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yep. Take it easy on this way.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Can I go ahead and finish up?
This is
What's the time?
This is Hebrews. Well, I'll read this. Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the land, in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law into their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people.
Right. So the Most High is going to draw us back to him. He's going to put his word in us, especially in that day of when perfection comes, man. Perfection isn't going to come, you know. If we could have healed Babylon, they would have healed it. But they found no balm or ointment or cure for things to get better. Even though, you know, what this man was saying, he was trying to say things are going to get better. That's not the case. You know, and man, sometimes when you see fire, you just got to be a bigger fire, man. And you notice, once he calmed down, yeah, we can calm down too. But you see, the way he came up was just very authoritative. That's why I asked him, are you in the military? Because a lot of military guys always ask, what's your story? Man, fuck the story, man. What do you mean? My story don't, like, you want to make a judgment off of what I have to say, because they're trying to break you down to pull the spirit, to pull you out of the spirit, man. That's why I'm like, man, fuck the story. This is the story. You know? Fuck my story don't matter, man. It's because, you know what, my stories, that's the same thing on that board. Those are my bedtime stories, man. Those are a lot of our bedtime stories. So here, I'll tell you the story. Okay?
The story.
Yeah. You know? So look, man, I don't know where to start or where to begin. It's an inside joke. I always want to be a part of it. Someday I'll be a part of the joke. But look, man, these people, they want peace, but we couldn't even get it. You could tell, you know, he wanted to go quickly because something was going to come up that he wasn't going to like. He already wasn't liking what he got into.
He wants to identify himself with us. Come on, he's surprised.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was saying, you know, because you got a lot of people that have migrated from other places into these other places of the U.S. or Central South America, and you know their ancestors, you know, slowly brought them and had them be, you know, get born here in America. You know, maybe he is by bloodline though. That's cool, but his spirit is off, man. His spirit wasn't on point. You know, but I had to. Yeah, you got to throw that bone out there and let him bite and see how it feels when you got to put that crown on him real quick. Say, look, you might be an Israelite. These things, the Spirit's dealing with you. And real quick, he goes, oh, we know about all that. We know about all this. Yes, the bankers, the bankers.
Preaching to the choir.
No, man, look, even if you were so-called, if they are indeed Edomites, right? Let's say they're the banking family and they seem like nice people, right? What's going to end up happening, a generation or two down the line, they're going to have some degenerate-ass grandchild that's going to just start sticking it to everybody because he's in a place of power.
Yep.
Because they're not going to instruct them, or they're not going to force them to go and learn humility and things of that nature to make them a better person in the world, to have for the people on the bottom to respect them being on top. Look at Amazon, man. Amazon's one of those top companies. And what are they trying to do? Give the $15 out to everyone and make all these adjustments. And then it comes out that really why they're trying to do that is because some article and talk of unionizing came up. So now the people are like, fuck, look, we're trying to give you the 15 and all the benefits and make sure everything's all good so you don't unionize.
That's going to make them lose hella money if all the unions, because that's everybody's going to be on one accord.
Yep.
And then they can't divide nobody anymore. Everybody's together.
See?
Yeah.
Yep.
See? So look, when you understand something small over here, you can apply it to the biggest thing you can find. It's not, but it is. It's not, but it is, you know? Look at Starbucks, look at Boeing, Microsoft. And look at all these old heads, you know, they're dying off day by day, man. So all these wicked people, all the wicked, you know, we got to start putting X's on these guys.
The ones that's gone?
As they drop,
Those two over there.
Did they drop?
We got to start putting, you know, dates and shit on these people. Yeah, there's a countdown on this stuff right there. Isn't George Soros? Is he still kicking?
He's ticking, but he's on his way out too. He's on his way out.
He's literally ticking.
R.I.P. for the no peace unto the wicked.
Yeah.
Going,
And the guy above him. Yep.
you know? Yeah, so look, man, these guys, they're realizing that they don't got a lot of time. And Putin, you know, they're all puppets. They're all puppets, man. But this is coming to where these guys are going to want to make sure these moves happen, man. And even if maybe some of these guys, as dirty as they are nice enough, right? So-called nice enough to try to keep prophecy out so that they don't have to live through it, so they can enjoy their utopia. Some of these guys realize that this is their heaven, and they want to enjoy this utopia. So some of these guys are trying to prolong prophecy. But the Most High, look, he could have them drop dead. Say it's this guy, that guy, and that guy. Boom, boom, boom. It happens in threes, right? Most High could just drop all of them. And those that haven't stepped into their place and be like, no, we're going to war. Fuck that guy. Look, if Trump's going to be this badass, I'm going to be a cowboy too. You know? Here it is. The Most High, you know, in a sense, is giving them all this rope. And instead of hanging themselves, these guys are picking it up and they're becoming cowboys and shit. You know? They're doing lasso tricks. So that's getting into end time prophecy. See, everything is about, you want to understand the end, you need to understand the beginning. In the beginning, it repeats itself. And that's why Peter talked about it. And he said, in the world past, it was destroyed with water, but the world to come is going to be destroyed with fire, man. Okay, the world that is reserved for now is going to be destroyed with fire.
It says, Revelation 12 and 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
16%.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Right, this way of life isn't going to last much longer, man. These elites and these leaders, they want shit to pop. They want World War III to come. Well, really, they don't, because they're living in a utopia, you know. But at the end of the day, war makes more money. So they want the war to pop for greed and more money. That's why the scripture says that the love of money is the root of all evil, you know.
They're going to come out on top, too.
Yeah, they really think they're going to win, you know. But the Most High is going to show them that it's going to be their time of destruction. Okay, this is going to be their time of destruction. That's right, Tweety Bird. That's right.
Rooster lady.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll probably have to. Yeah, you know, camera's gonna die. But keep. So it said, they that overcome him by the blood of the Lamb. So that's the men of the Lord who's chosen. They're going to be able to escape this destruction because of their belief in Yahweh Shai, not Jesus, man. Because that Jesus, okay, is a false image, man. That's a Greek name and a false image. He was never a Greek. He was never a Caucasian. Okay, the Bible, when you actually read it, it describes him more so in this appearance, in this fashion. Okay? So when you deceive everyone and you have everyone believing on this, well, it keeps people dumbed down since what? 1492. This kept people dumbed down since the 1400s, man. You see? So now that all these lies and deception are being removed, okay, everything is being sped up. So America's not going to last much longer, man. Okay? That's why I said the accuser of our brethren, because when these Caucasians got into power, and as they sit in power, what do? They keep the Negro, Latino, North American, Indian man, they keep us against each other and against ourselves. Giving us drugs, you know, allowing us to, people to do gang activities, you know, promoting crimes, drugs, right on, all that bullshit. And then what do they say? They say, well, look, these people, how can they be, you know, how can they be of any people that are special when they're doing stuff, you know, they're accusing us to Yahweh Shai, saying, look, they're doing all this stuff, but these are the people that have these institutions and everything in place. They make the rules. So they allow the majority of our people to be dumbed down. And that's why you see them doing dumb shit on World Star, on Instagram, you know, and more and more of our people, they know about it. You know, they're aware. You got even fewer of our people that embrace it, though, you know. So look, when the judgment comes, 2/3 of our own people, they're going to die too, because they didn't do anything to help push this word or to show their faith. Okay? So this is all reality. World War III is a reality, man. The financial collapse is a reality. Microchipping the populations of the world is a reality. You got more and more of these hip-hop stars and entertainers, they're going to take this chip and say it's a good thing. You know, if you take the chip between this day and that day, we'll give you extra, $300, $400, $500 credits. They show you that in the purge. People were taking a microchip and getting paid to take it. Oh, it's a social experiment. This and that. We want to see if you guys can govern yourselves without police. But with these chips, man, they got different designs. Some of them carry cyanide or some sort of poison that they can release it in you. Or you saw like Kingsman, the chip that they had, it blew their heads off. See? So you're submitting yourself to someone who's not God, but is acting like God, that they can just control your life. So when you take this chip, and your lineage, your heritage goes back to these Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, the Lord for sure is going to make sure you're destroyed, man.
That's right.
Because you gave yourself over to this ideology and this principle, man, rather than a spiritual presence and a true power, which is the Heavenly Father, the Most High Yahweh, man. Okay, go ahead.
This is Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation.
Right. So when you look at that word mark, it's a keragma. In the Greek, it means a cutting of the flesh. Okay, like Godinib is meat, or a carnivore, carnivorous, right? A mark, okay, of this beast. The beast is this whole system. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. That's NATO. Okay, that's that North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So again, when you go back to the sign of the wicked, who set all this stuff up, man? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. He covered the face of the judge. He covered his face. And the scripture says, if it wasn't the so-called white man that's done all this and is doing all this by design, it says then where and who is it? You see, where and who is it? Was it the Arab? Is the Arab doing this? Is it the Aborigines? Is it the Native Americans? Who's setting all this up by design, man? You see, it's coming to pass through one people in particular.
I got a quick one, then I'll jump back. This First Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Right. They laid open the book of the law and went into the scriptures, which you'll find time and time again that they describe our people as being a dark people. They laid open the book of the law, and the heathen sought to paint their likeness. In the time of the Renaissance, that's when all this art came up. And you notice that every time the so-called white man portrays someone or another race, he says that he was the original man. And he gives you this bullshit about Cro-Magnon and Neanderthals, right? And look, all these gods of other people in other places, why does the majority of them all look like Caucasians? Why do they knock the noses off of statues in ancient places? See, because when they came into power, what they started to do was rewrite the history. That's what you call iconoclasm, where you whitewash images, and you lighten up skin tones. But then when you go into Russia, Russia's a little bit more honest. They actually have more books and ancient books, and even paintings to this day, where the people are painted dark. Matter of fact, there's a Shaolin temple. The guy that played Bruce Lee, what's his name? Jason something. He also played Jason Scott Lee. He also played Mowgli in the old 90s Jungle Book. Okay, he went to a temple, a Shaolin temple, a monk temple, and on the temple walls, the monks that were painted up were all dark skinned. See, the world is a majority place of dark skinned people. right? But they'll have you believe that there's more Caucasians in the world than anyone else, which isn't true. And they'll say, oh, well, you know, in Russia, they're pale because of the snow. But what about the goddamn Eskimos? Why are they so dark? And they've been wrapped up, bundled up, eating whale fat. Why they stay dark? If they're supposed to be, came over on the land bridge and they stayed there, how you come over on the land bridge, stay there, and remain dark? See, all this shit doesn't make sense, man. Because they're trying to hide more truth. See? Go ahead,
Micah 2:1 says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
See, it's in the power of their hand to practice all this wickedness. So they come up with these legislations and they'll pass them off during the Super Bowl, right, or some big event, and they'll be like, oh, meanwhile, this act or this, you know, this law or legislation got passed while you were all watching American Idol or the fight or the game. And then when the morning time comes, it's already written into law. So now you got no choice. You couldn't vote against it. You know.
Verse 2, the point. And they covet fields and take them by violence.
They covet fields and take them by violence, man. They go into everyone's land and country, and they find resources, and they take them by what? By violence, and they'll say, oh, because of terrorism. Oh, there's terrorism, or there's, you know, they use those fields not to help their people. They actually use it to support the jihad and all this bullshit. And so they go around everywhere, killing everyone, saying, oh, we want freedom to ring out through the world. We want democracy and justice for all. That's a bullshit lie, man. Because the soldiers that die and stuff, they'll tell you when they come back, oh man, we were just guarding poppy fields all day. We were just guarding poppy fields. We were just sitting by a water well. That water well was most likely for a poppy field or some shit. You see?
It says, and they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage.
Yeah, you know how many of these Native Americans can actually tell you, and break down their original language and explain to you how to live off the land. And if you've ever gone to a powwow, you're never gonna eat authentic Native American food. You know why? Because their heritage has been destroyed, man. You're gonna get an Oscar Mayer wiener, a hot dog. You're gonna get Roach's jelly. You're gonna get Jiffy peanut butter. You're gonna get all American products because that's what the military was doing. They killed them off, destroyed their heritage. They can't tell you really too much about their past. They know very little themselves because they killed all their elders and stuff. Very little of them can speak their own language. And now all they have is government handouts. And people say, well, they got the casinos. Well, how does the concept of money help the people that never used fucking money?
Right.
They don't know how to use money. That's why they're always, you'll see them around town everywhere you go, on drugs, fucked up, walking around all messed up. Hey, brother, you got it. I want some beer. You see our people all fucked up because money doesn't mean shit to us, man. Money was never part of our heritage. Yeah, you too, bitch. You see, what are they mad about?
Yeah.
You know? What are you mad about?
Drive by scoffing.
Yeah, drive by, yeah, you know, drive by.
There's no Pokemon, that's why they mad.
Yeah, I guess Gengar or Gastly's supposed to be right here. They didn't get him.
Pokemon off their game.
Yeah, you know?
There was a Pokemon where you guys were, we couldn't get it.
Now look, man, that's what's coming. You know, you can go to school and watch the news and stuff. They're gonna give you little bits and pieces, but they're not gonna give you the full picture and tie it all together, man. You know? So look, man, these people, your lineage, if your lineage goes back to any of these people, you're an Israelite too. You don't have to look like it because our people have been conquered with when our people got conquered, and every ethnicity of our people, every tribe of our people, we mingle in with other people. Look at Angelina Jolie. She thinks she's a Buddhist. You know, she practices these things. So, I mean, you know, I was raised a Catholic, was Christian, Baptist, you know, whatever. We're going to be whatever our parents raised us to be. You know, but when these words, when we first heard these words, and we started seeing how this is all in the scriptures and the prophecy, and it made too much sense to ignore. You know, so then we followed that rabbit trail. You know, like that bunny, Alice in Wonderland. I'm gonna jump down that rabbit hole. and it's led us here. You know, so we see what's coming, and it takes time for these things to come to pass, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. You'll see more and more movies. You ever watch a show called Black Mirror on Netflix? Yeah. Man, a lot of that stuff is really what they want to implement. You know, a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it you can see dealing with biometrics, biohumanism, right? And a lot of these things are like miracles of science. You know, you can have your arms back, you can put your memory in a new body. It'll be you, but it won't really be you, but it'll still be you to a degree. You know, and these people, they want to live on like that.
Yeah.
So that's why in the scripture it says, if anyone worship his image or the beast, because people are going to treat him as God, like, oh, well, if I can save enough money or if I can sign up for this program and I can live longer, I can live forever. They see him as God, like he's going to save and fix all their problems. So the concept, you know, of a God or a power has been removed from our people because we've been without his protection. But we've been without his protection for those of us that believe to prove that no matter what we go through, our faith isn't going to be shaken or removed. It can be taken from us for a little while, but but when they get it back, when we get it back, we're unstoppable. So you're going to have people that are going to rely on the powers of man, and you're going to have people that are going to rely on the actual power that created them. See?
Well,
go ahead.
I'm curious as to why is a spiritual medium needed to describe this? Because I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like, I mean, I can talk to my grandfather and I can hear about segregation, and I can know everything that's been done to my people going back hundreds of years just through word of mouth alone. Not even counting history books. I don't need any kind of spirituality or any book to tell me what my people have been through. And I don't need anybody to tell me what my people are capable of, because I see every day how strong we are. I see every day that we can come together. I mean, we don't need a book, we don't need the Bible, we don't need anything that the white man has given us in order to come together and create a power that can break our chains and free our bonds and create a society where we can thrive. I just personally don't see a need for a higher power in this equation.
So, in your view, make it bigger, right? So you can go back to a certain point in time and you kind of know, but there's always going to be that drop-off point where it's like, well, I don't know outside of that, right? You don't know outside of that, and that's what one thing we were talking about earlier. What the scriptures deal with is heritage. So the beginning of our heritage, of why our people are so loving and kind to one another originally, goes back to Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It goes back to that beginning where the divine or spiritual power, he said, look, I'm going to choose you. Get that real quick in Exodus. I'm going to choose you. Okay, because before the world started calling him God or Jehovah or Yahweh, which his name is Yahweh, but before they knew his name, they used to call him Almighty God, which is translates to Allah Shajib, which is a terrible demon-like power. It was basically, if you could imagine, like in a fantasy realm, a dragon that ruled everything, and there was only peace when he slept.
Yeah.
When he woke up, he would terrorize everybody. Type of scenario, right? So it's kind of similar. You have this all-powerful God that didn't have a people yet to work for him, basically, or to worship him. So what happened is, go ahead and read it.
Deuteronomy 76. For thou art.
Start at that verse. Let's start at verse 5.
Deuteronomy 75. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So this is after the time of Abraham. This is where Israel, the tribes were established It was being explained to Moses that, look, I chose you. It's just like you in your own life, you have the ability to choose your favorite brands or, you know, lines, whatever product is out there. You have the ability to choose.
Yeah.
And the Lord is saying, look, he chose us. Can we go into why? Because we were fierce? Yeah. And he told us why he chose us. He said we're going to be a special people unto him. Okay? Keep going, yeah?
Verse 7, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
So he chose us because he wanted to. And he chose us not because we were a big group, but because we were a small group. So you might go to the river and you enjoy that river and that scene. And out of all those river rocks and stuff, maybe you find, you know, a certain stone or pebble that's very unique from all the rest. And it's only one of all these thousands of stones. And you decide, you know what, this is my stone. I want this. I like this. The same thing the Most High did with us. Because he chose us not because we were many, but because we were few. And it also said because of the oath that he made with our forefather, Abraham, which was passed on to Isaac, which was passed on to Jacob, which now rests with these people. So our heritage was something that was really given to us. And see, there was a reason why where's Gad at? So there's a reason why you see the Mexicans wearing ponchos and they got those fringes on them. There's a reason why you see Native Americans, you know, they a lot of times would have, you know, these garments, but they would have fringes on them. There's a reason why the Negro came over on the slave ship, okay, and they shaved them down, okay, like you would you know, someone going to prison, the military, right? And they stripped them down naked, and they put them on these boats. They took away everything that we could use to identify ourselves with. So the thing that gave us power was our knowledge of our heritage, which was given to us by the Creator. And even the Native Americans to this day, that's what they call the Heavenly Father, the Great Spirit, the Creator, the Ancient of Days. A lot of the Aztecs and the Mayans reverenced, you know, one omniscient.
Whatever the word is.
That's the word. Okay. So there's a reason why our people did that. You know, and again, it was a heritage that was given to us. That's our power. But because we lost our identity, we've lost power. Now you notice we still have some of our power, but the scriptures tell us that we're going to die like princes. So we may be, you know, the better entertainers, the better sports players, right? Our people come up with the better customs for, you know, dance, fashion, whatever. We get one of our people behind it, it's like, oh yeah, all these models and stuff, you know, they're all, you know, for the majority, Israelites, right? It's because the Most High, he said we were special to him. He made us the salt of the earth.
Yep.
But we still, with all that capability and all that talent, we can't run anything. Maybe you've heard of like Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was doing good, but we're not set up in this world to succeed right now. You know, our power said we can't succeed without it, and it's been proven true time and time again. No matter how much money Oprah makes, she's not going to lead us out of the house of Egypt. Like I said, the Most High, He led us out of the house of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, by His power. He caused all those miracles to happen. So it's going to be the same thing for our people, especially here in America. We're going to see more things happen to where the Lord is going to deliver us. But this time, He's not going to deliver all of us. He's only going to deliver a very small group of our people that believe and that show faith, while others of our people are going to show faith to the works of men. Rather, because everyone has to have a teacher. You know, even teachers have teachers. You know, so that's kind of the concept, just on a bigger scale. You know, so our heritage is power. It is powerful.
So, like, you know, you said that, like, you can talk to your elders of your bloodline about these things that have happened, right? And they can tell you about what's happened to our people and the judgment that's come unto our people.
they can't tell you why, right? You hear about, oh yeah, slavery, this happened, da 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 da. We went through segregation, we had to do this and that and this and that. But that underlying question of why did that happen? When especially we're a way stronger people, a way smarter people. You know, if you look at like even something as simple as a stoplight, an automatic transmission, who came up with these ideas? It was all Israelites, right? So with all that, even as the small amount of numbers of the so-called white man that came here, we could have wiped them out like that as they came, you know, in small numbers. Right? Yeah. We became peaceful. Yeah. We showed them how to live on this land. Right? There's a reason for all of those things that have happened, and it's all written in the scriptures. Right? That's why that has to be brought to the table as part of what you said, a mediator, because it gives us the answers as to why. How can a weak nation like that take such a strong, powerful people over? We still have a strong presence in this place, but can't arise. If we were going to rise in this place, we already would have done it. All these different movements, you know, gatherings of people, a million men marching together, but it never was of the Most High, and that's why it hasn't come to fruition.
I mean, go ahead. I would challenge that statement. As I think we can see why. Time and time again. It's hard to find why, but if you know where to